Hey guys, Taylor here, and I'm going to be talking all about Notebook SQL in this video. We've got lots of questions from people asking what the differences are between Notebook SQL and the SQL that you're used to using. So in this video, I'm just going to be talking about how Notebook SQL is similar and dissimilar to the SQL that you're used to using. So let's kick things off. I will say before we get going that we designed Notebook SQL to be optimized for writing SQL in a notebook, which means you could be writing several different queries down a page. So what we tried to do is take out as many of the keywords that would make that really cumbersome as we possibly could. So that's kind of the thought process behind it, and hopefully you'll see that come through when we go through the examples. Right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is selects and froms. The thing you need to know when you want to select a column or a set of columns is that you always need to specify the table name and the column name. And we do that so that you don't have to have a select and a from clause, it's all in one. So if I wanted the salesman column from the clean sales data, I can start typing the name of the column and we can see the autocomplete come up. Once I reach the thing I want, I can hit enter, and then to execute this query, I hit shift enter, and it runs. And if we take a look at the SQL, it's exactly like we would expect. Select this column from this table. Now we can still do things like distinct, and now we see we only have 9 rows instead of however many there were before. If we want to add multiple columns, again, we just put a comma between them, and then we can do like client, for example. And not surprisingly, it's just added that as another column. If you want to select columns from different tables, you can do that as long as you've previously defined a relationship between the tables in your schema page. The schema page is located in your data section of your workspace, and as long as you define primary, foreign key relationships, you can join columns together from those tables, however you want. You can also join together columns from previous cells. So I could do a.client with the, let's say, the clean sales data date. And it knows how to join those together because this is derived from the same root table. I could also do, so I know that opportunities and accounts are linked together. So I could say accounts dot say size, and what's in opportunities? Opportunities dot priority. And it's joined those two tables together based off of this relationship. Again, I've previously defined elsewhere. Okay, so next I'll talk about filters. So how can we start doing some where clauses? So let's take a look at our clean sales data again. Now, if you want to select an entire column, you can just, or entire table, you just list out the name of the table, and then we can start adding some filters with commas. So let's say first I want to filter just for sales transactions. I can say the name of the column that I want, and then just say equals sale. I can also do in like this. If I want to select multiple values, this would be everything. I can do not equals turn. I can also do things like null and not nulls. So I know promotion has a lot of nulls. So I can say promotion is not null, and filter those out. You can also do things like contains. So if I want the industry to contain goods, then we've just got consumer goods there. And that's a pretty good idea of how you could do categorical and text filtering. For dates, it's much like how you do in SQL. So again, you can just list the column that you want to filter by. You can say greater than or equal to. You could use between. You could use a direct equal. You could say month is equal to name of the month. But in this case, let's just do it's just in December. And there we go. We should just get December dates back. And then for numbers, it's kind of how you would expect. So I could say I want the amount to be greater than or equal to 1E4, let's say. If there's anything in there, if not, 1E3. You could also type out 1,000 if you wanted to. And yeah, the numbers are pretty straightforward. You can also do equals and all that kind of stuff as well, and not equal to. So that is filters. Okay, the next one is group by. So this tends to trip people up the most. So let's say I wanted to find the total amount sold by each salesman. So I'll select the salesman, and then I want to do the sum of the amount, like that. Now you can tell there's only 9 rows, so it has done a group by. If we look at the query, it's done just as we might expect. You're going to sum this column over salesman. And basically it's because we can work out that one of those columns is an aggregation and one is not, so we can figure out how to set up that group by without you having to define it. And we can select multiple columns. We can do this by month, for example, and it will just add month in the group by there as well. So you'll never have to specify a group by with Notebook SQL. Next, order bys and sorts and limits. So if you want to sort a column, the easiest way is just to click it. And when you click, you can see how the code has changed. You could click it again for descending, or you could type it. And then for limit, again, you can click this and it will add it for you. You can change this to limit 1, for example, if you just want the top one. Or you can take all that out. And that's how you can add order and limit, either by clicking or by typing. It's up to you. Okay, and then the last thing I was going to show is some more advanced functionality. So I'm going to show you guys how you can do a window function in Notebook SQL. So let's say here we've got the total amount sold by each salesperson per month. So what if I wanted throughout the year the running sum of the sales for each salesperson? So I can do that by saying d dot and then I do over, just like you would in a regular window function in SQL. And I want to do that over d dot salesman, and then I'll order by the month in ascending order, and then I'll also select d dot month date and d dot salesman. And we can do that. Now if we want to rename this to be something else, basically at the end of our expression, we can just call this running total and type it out like that. And now we've got running total there, just like that. And that is pretty much it. If you want to know more about what you can do, check out the function list down here. And if you don't see something that you need, please do shout and let us know. And it's something we probably can add pretty quickly. So go ahead and make those requests and let us know. Hopefully that helps, and I will talk to you all later.